My name is Dmitri George. I live in Tampa, Florida. I go by the Booty God. It's kind of my influencer handle. It's kind of how I'm known locally as well. Um, by locally, I kind of mean all over the state. I'm an IFBB Pro, so I compete in men's physique. I'm a coach as well, so I coach for NPC as well as IFBB. Work with a lot of pros, some amateurs. But my main focus really isn't so much athletes. It's kind of developing people who want to kind of change their life and become athletes. Yeah.
Gotcha. So how did you actually kind of going back in time to how this all started? How did you actually get into the world of fitness and then, the world of bodybuilding after that, I guess?
Yeah, the two-part story for sure. So I've always been, around sports, I played Little League when I was a kid. And so just being active was sort of, always been present in my life. How I got into fitness as far as like, for business, being a trainer. I graduated college from the University of Tampa with two bachelor's degrees around 2014. And I got my first corporate job of working asset and wealth management, and the corporate office was moving from Tampa to DC. I absolutely did not want to move to DC. No snow for me. And at the time, I was working on the side, kind of just training my friends and then their friends. And then I was doing really well. People were getting really good results, and I said, okay, I come from a family of serial entrepreneurs, so I decided, why not? Let's take a chance on me. I'm pretty young at the time, and ever since then, been running with it. So, been going great.
So are you actually from Florida?
So my family is Jamaican. I kind of grew up in Jamaica and New York. I moved kind of to Florida a little after 9/11, and been in like Orlando, Claremont area ever since. Then I moved to Tampa for college.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So, you're talking about getting into being in wealth management and kind of that's where your job career really started off was but you were also training. So it's interesting because now I feel like in the past 3, 4, 5 years, fitness training, fitness coaching, bodybuilding coaching has become, I feel like, more established. It's become more of like this thing that people can actually have like sustainable careers with. But whenever you were getting into trying to decide what you wanted to do with your life, I guess, after high school and stuff like that, did was your perspective on the industry, fitness industry different than it kind of is today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of that comes with, you don't know what you don't know. You kind of mentioned, like you feel like, oh man, this industry is so much more reasonable and able for someone to get into and have a career. And it's kind of actually always been that way. It's just the stigma of like you're a trainer, like what stability do you have going forward, And there really is a lot. It's just you've got to take that risk.
Right. And I
Yeah.
think, you said serial entrepreneur, it runs in the blood, I think partially, but also too, it's this thing that you almost, if you see it, it's possible. But for people who don't have that experience, if their parents are employees versus an employer, or just, a business owner, it's almost like it's foreign concept. It's so bizarre to even think about like what is all involved in a business, what it takes to do it, the hours, the just the
What
commitment
what I
behind it.
tell a lot of people is, as an entrepreneur, you're delusional until it happens, because everyone is like, what is it? But only you have the vision. So truthfully, you're delusional until it becomes, reality, and then you're unstoppable at that point. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that. Actually, it made me think of something I saw on Instagram the other day. It was Jeff Bezos talking about before he actually started Amazon, he was talking to his boss at his former job. And his boss was like, that sounds like a great idea. But if I were you, I wouldn't do it because you already have a good job. you
That's
know,
fun.
ju- and that's like, not that everyone's business is going to become Amazon, but I think everybody's passion, especially in this day and age, has the potential to become something, with just with social media, with YouTube, with all the ways that you can like become passionate about something, learn about it, and then share your passion with other people who have the same interest. Like you can literally be a XYZ fan of a show and like start making six figures on YouTube off talking
Yeah.
about it. Like it's
Yeah, for
amazing
sure. Right.
what the possibilities are now with entrepreneurship, and just being able to realize that, recognize that, I think is really important.
Yeah, indeed. It's just a whole new ball game for sure in ecom.
But kind of getting back into the fitness side of things, once you decided to stick around here and start doing the training thing, how long did it take for you to kind of recognize that, hey, this is something that can be more than just a part-time thing?
To be honest, took a couple years. I don't want anyone to watch this and think I was an overnight success, or it happened in 1 year or two. There were a lot of years of barely making it by. To be really transparent. There's a lot of years of failure, a lot of investment that didn't work out, a lot of trying, just not giving up and believing in myself. And I went from, I would say I've tripled my income after those first 4 years of really putting in a lot of grind, hard work, building the network, building, reputation, because that's kind of where it all is. And 1 year just happened and kind of tripled that my income. And to be fair, a lot of that is people have become more aware and conscious of their health, because we have more access to information now. So that's definitely something that has stimulated business for me as well.
Right. And so for
Yeah.
the coaches out there, and really for anybody out there who's trying to do something for themselves like that, what would you say kind of is some of your biggest advice in terms of like, you mentioned kind of your mindset almost has to be delusional, but like, did you find that what worked better for you was like sticking with the same things, just consistently switching things up and seeing what worked? Like, what do you feel like worked best for you?
So outside of fitness, I also work as a business consultant. So a lot of what I do to get to your question is I actually consult with a lot of other trainers on building their business. So the number one thing that I would say is find a niche. Like get niche specific, right? I'm the booty god. It speaks for itself as for what that niche is. Now, do I work with other people who don't necessarily care for, their booty being enhanced? Sure, right? But like find a niche, and that's what your business is for. When you think of McDonald's, you already know Big Mac and fries, right? When you think of, this guy, when you think of Elon Musk, you think Tesla. Same thing. You just want to have name recognition with whatever it is you're serving. For me, the main reason that I, created such a niche specific business was I thought about it. I asked people, when you're looking for a trainer, what are you doing? Like, how do you do it? And, people, they type in what they want. It's a guy, you go, big chest trainer, or abs, local trainer. Girls are typing in glutes, local trainer, the city trainer, right? Those are the keywords that people are looking up. So I decided, all right, well, this keyword's getting a bunch of searches. Let's fall into this niche. So that's my advice for all the trainers out there watching this.
No, yeah, that's really cool. Um, Being in Florida, what would you say is kind of like the environment? What do you feel like the environment down there is?
So for Florida, I definitely say like everyone thinks Florida looks like Miami, or has that sort of like fitness, body image sort of mentality, and it certainly isn't. That's just Miami. So when it comes to gyms, like Florida really isn't that big of a fitness state, ironically. I mean, yeah, are there gyms everywhere? Sure, but it's not like seen, whereas there's certain places you go and almost everyone's fit. That's kind of not the case here so much. Not yet, at least.
Are you struggling with the common challenges of marketing and managing systems? Well, let me introduce you to our new sponsor, Big Play Digital Solutions. At Big Play Digital, they specialize in helping fitness professionals like yourself overcome these hurdles. Their mission is simple: to provide seamless support in digital marketing and system management so you can focus on what you do best, serving your clients. Now here's the reality. Many of us fitness professionals find ourselves spending more time on administrative tasks and marketing efforts than actually working with our clients. It's time to change that. Big Play Digital has the perfect solution. First, they create and execute effective digital marketing strategies tailored to your needs. From boosting your online visibility, attracting the right clients, and boosting retention, they've got your back. SEO, email marketing, social media marketing, content creation,
they've got the expertise. But that's not all. They also offer comprehensive system management solutions. Their business management software, specifically designed for the fitness industry, streamlines processes, automates administrative tasks, and enhances client communications. More time, less hassle. The result, a more streamlined, efficient, and profitable fitness business that can compete effectively in today's digital landscape. Sounds like the solution you've been looking for, right? So if you're ready to take your fitness business to the next level, I encourage you to connect with Big Play Digital Solutions. They'll tailor their services to meet your specific needs and help you succeed. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Empower your fitness business with Big Play Digital Solutions. Connect with them today.
And then, like, even being in a city like Tampa, do you feel like that it's kind of in its own little bubble sometimes in regards to that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that whole community, everyone knows everyone sort of thing. There's about 5 to 7 small gyms that everyone goes to, and maybe 2 big ones. So
Gotcha.
it's a little community, but yeah, it's definitely there.
So kind of getting into your bodybuilding side a little bit,
Yeah.
what made you want to get into that?
So personally, I have a good background in the science of bodybuilding. Like I know a lot about that stuff. But personally, I was never bodybuilding. I just lifted for fun. Um, we fast forward a few years. I started dating someone that was competing at the time, or was about to. And if anyone knows, if someone's on contest prep, there's no, going out to drink and going out on regular dates. Those things are a little different. Um, so for me, I took it somewhat as a challenge. Like I shouldn't be someone that dates, and it has to be revolving around alcohol and eating out. It can be other things. Um, and so that's kind of how that happened. And then she said, "Hey, you should compete with me too." And that's how I got into it. I did really well in my very first competition in 2016. Didn't really try too much, just kind of did it just to do it. I did really well, got good feedback, and I saw other guys that were like they've been doing this for years. And I said, wait a second, I can make something out of this. This is really good. This is like, it's big for the social scene, and it was big for my business at the time. So why not do it? Um, and then from there, it's just been up and been going up since then. Turned pro 2021, and yeah, been going good since then.
So for you, do you feel like the driver behind it was kind of like that business reason?
Yeah, not initially. It ended up growing into it. Ended up growing into that, just the people who are interested in competing or just admire it, they have a certain social respect for people who do compete, especially on social media, if that makes sense, because we're kind of extreme or, out there. So I definitely kept that around as, definitely somewhat of a business trigger.
Once you did turn pro, was there a sense of like, okay, I've kind of made it to this point. We're good here. Like what to you, what's the kind of the future? What's like the kind of the goal behind bodybuilding now?
Are you looking for a supplement company that can help take your fitness game to the next level? Look no further than All Sport Pharmaceuticals. Their cutting-edge supplements are scientifically formulated to give you the edge you need in the gym and in life. Whether you're looking to build muscle, increase endurance, or boost recovery time, All Sport Pharmaceuticals has you covered. And with a wide range of products designed for people of all levels, you're sure to find the perfect supplement for your needs. So why wait? Give your body the support it deserves with All Sport Pharmaceuticals. Visit their website today to learn more and start achieving your fitness goals. Are you tired of struggling with marketing and system management? Well, Big Play Digital is here to change the game for you. Their mission is simple: to provide seamless support in digital marketing and system management so you can focus on what truly matters, delivering exceptional fitness service to your clients. Big Play Digital understands the unique demands of the fitness industry. They've tailored their software and services specifically for your needs. From SEO to email marketing, social media, and content creation, they've got it all covered. Big Play Digital offers comprehensive system management solutions designed specifically for fitness professionals. It's time to take your fitness business to new heights.
Yeah, I mean, I won't speak for every amateur competitor, but the goal is to go pro and then be the best in the world, right? I'm pretty sure that's kind of most competitive people's mindset, is to be the best. So personally, right now, I've been doing this since 2016. So my goal is I want to go to the Olympia. I want to get in the first call out, which is the top 5. Personally for me at my age, that's definitely doable. Um, and something I want to do. I don't necessarily need to win. Would I love to win? Yeah, hell yeah. But that top five would be a great benefit. Everyone's so close. In high school, I wasn't much into a lot of sports outside of track, so it definitely gave me, an outlet that was still athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So at what point did you start to actually, brand yourself and realizing that like, okay, the booty god is what it's going to be? And at what point also did you start to see that that was like paying off for you and you're gaining traction from that?
Yeah, so I made that decision. What was that? June or July of 2020. So just yeah, it was right when the gyms reopened in Florida, so around June of 2020, and just talking to one of my mentors and some other friends in the industry, I just kind of made that decision to really niche down and go to the booty god, and it translated very well, was received well. I market really well. Um, one of my bachelor's degrees is in communication and PR, public relations. So I kind of have, a good understanding of marketing and advertising. So I was able to really kind of push the whole booty idea, booty god. I mean, it's pretty vulgar almost, so it drags your attention at the very least. So it has definitely been paying off really well. I walk around in public, and people I don't know and don't train, don't go to my gym, will identify me as the booty god. My clients say the same thing happened to them. Oh my God, you're that girl, you're that guy that trains with the booty guy. It's cool. And it's not just in Florida, because I have people that travel to come and see me and train with me. So it's a pretty cool thing happening, seeing it, kind of grow and spread.
Yeah. And did you have any, or did anybody, close to you have any like second thoughts about the name? Was it like, okay, we're going to kind of see how this goes? Or was it kind of just like, okay, this is going to be the one?
Definitely a mix of both. I mean, a lot of my friends and partners that are, all business, they're like, what are you talking about, the booty? You're Xing out a whole bunch of people from ever coming to you. Like, that's not a good idea. And then I received the other side of the coin, which was, oh my God, that's awesome. Like, everybody that wants glutes or butt or better legs is definitely going to come to you. And that was the goal. So, I took the advice how I wanted it to be.
So, um, was obviously, the marketing behind it, but was there for you, was there like, did you feel like you had like this increased knowledge specific to glutes or to lower body that, obviously people could definitely benefit from? Or was it like, okay, I'm going to, start branding this and then we're going to, really get in, we're going to dive in, we're going to figure out all the kind of the things we need to know? Or in what order was it for you?
So it was a bit of a two-part thing. Like I mentioned before, looking up keywords, finding out what's trending, what's popular, what do people want in business. Like, I wouldn't open a lemonade stand or coffee shop. They're everywhere, right? You got to start something very, different. What do people want? And I looked and I found that um, people want really big chests, really big butts. Most guys are, at least in my area, are either a little intimidated or insecure, or just some of those things. Guys don't necessarily like training with other guys that aren't their friends. That's a really big statistic. So that played against me, business wise. Females absolutely love training with men. So I made it a point to overcome one of the big things that I was getting, and I wanted to be known as the trainer that any husband or fiance would trust their wife or fiance with. And I definitely have built that reputation. And for that reason, I'm so happy I stuck with Booty God versus trainer.
Right. At the beginning, how did you build that kind of reputation of that trust?
Yeah. Yeah. So honestly, so for reputation, I have a pretty, I went to college here, was big on this kind of big on the social scene. So everyone kind of knows me. So in a way, it was kind of cool to say, oh, I train with Dmitri. Oh, I train with the booty guy. So that was somewhat of a driver for some people. And then obviously your results, results. Oh man, she looks great, you know. So that's kind of what really sealed the deal for a lot of people, are the results and professionalism. The way that I speak, the way that I talk to people, it's not so much like I don't treat my job as a job. I treat it as a career. And you can kind of see that difference in not just what you get in terms of quality, but when you speak to other trainers and things of that nature, how they present themselves, you kind of see someone who's taking a job or someone who's taking a career. And that's kind of how I, built that reputation and trust with my clients and their partners.
Are you also incorporating the nutrition side as well, or do you specifically only do the training, the exercise programming?
Yeah. So working with me, either in person or online, is like all inclusive. I'll do like full spectrum service. So you do get customized nutrition, your cardio is customized, your recovery protocols given to you, supplement guidance, and did I say meal plan and a meal plan? So all of that in there as well.
When you kind of, especially people who are in your community, when you start to train those people, or maybe even before that, when someone comes to and like, hey, I want to train with you, um I want the results that I see online. Do you almost feel like that your name and that your results that you do show, that they, for people that are coming to you, that they might come to you with like this sense of, this person's reputation is going to get me a little closer, so I might not have to like work as hard. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to ask, like,
I know exactly what you mean. And I actually, in my, sales call or initial contact with any client, that's something that I go over. Most girls, they kind of just, they trust anybody with abs, so to speak, right? And I kind of make that apparent. They chuckle and giggle like that too, like, oh, I've made that mistake, right? And I kind of clarify for them, like, you're not just getting someone that looks good or sounds good. You're also going to be working with someone that's proven and knows and has the certifications and the education behind everything that you're going to receive. But you got to put in the work. People do believe like, oh my God, I can just say I train with the booty god and I'm going to look like Michelle or that girl or that guy, and it doesn't work like that.
right? No, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that especially it would almost be like in today's social media day and age, just putting like trained by at the booty god, like in your Instagram profile, like that would get you something.
I can confirm that personally. I mean, I have had people, to be frank, pay me and never show up. They'll come 1 day or 2 days, they should have come 12 times over the course of 2 months. And they're like, oh, it's okay, no problem. And mostly what it was is they just wanted to get a repost from on their story, right? Like, 'cause I take a story for most people when we're training, and they just want to get a repost. Oh my God, I was on the booty guy. And it's not just women, it's also men. And I'm proud of being able to have achieved that level of notoriety, I guess. But I try to steer away from those clients,
Right.
and keep everything on brand so that you know everyone's progressing, not just some people.
Right. And when you're talking to somebody kind of in that interview stage, how do you try to almost filter those people out? What questions do you ask, or what do you look for?
Yeah, so I have like a legal set of questions I've got to ask people. Any injuries, any medications, things like that. And I kind of get an idea of what their goals are. And usually how they describe their goals is what tells me where their mindset is. Right. I'll have person A that says, hey, I want to get snatched in a big butt, period. Right. When I see that, I'm like, okay, all right. And then I read the next question, and the next question is give me an example of your current day of eating. And it usually is something I'm gonna say misguided. I would normally say crazy, but I'm gonna say misguided. Now, person B, I'll get person B, and it will say, um, really would like to develop my glutes and get a stronger core. Wow, this person kind of put some thought into what their goal is, right? It's more than just the look that they might have heard someone else say they want, right? Because most people's goals are actually someone else's goals
Yeah.
and they don't know it. And that's kind of why I asked that question, so that they know what their goal is. Um, And you know, that second person usually ends up actually achieving their goals and keeping them.
Right. Looking for a supplement company that's as serious about your fitness goals as you are? All Sport Pharmaceuticals is here to help. Their top-of-the-line supplements are designed to help you get the most out of every workout with ingredients that have been scientifically proven to enhance performance and recovery. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just starting out on your fitness journey, All Sport Pharmaceuticals has the perfect supplements to help you achieve your goals. Plus, with their commitment to quality and safety, you can trust that you're getting a product that's both effective and reliable. So what are you waiting for? Take your fitness game to the next level with All Sport Pharmaceuticals. Visit the website today to learn more. This podcast is sponsored by Smoking Gun Coffee, a veteran-owned coffee company that strives to give back to those in need. Don't forget to use code TWR10 for a 10% discount at checkout.
You know, trends flip-flop on the ends. But I will say, because I'm really big on statistics, a big reason for that is people are realizing how unhealthy we are. Right? Like they just put out the statistic that by 2030, 51% of all Americans will be obese. Not overweight, obese. Like that's a crazy thing to hear out loud, you know?
Right.
And
No,
and 30% of children will be obese. Those things are really crazy. And I think that that's why, you know, people are starting to realize like being healthy and being fit or even just normal is not normal. It's not common, I should say. You know, there are going to be more obese people than people who are not. And that's a really bad sign of health, you know?
yeah. And I think when we live in a country where we have like access to the information, generally we have access to like healthy food and, you know, healthy water, even like that's a weird
Right.
crazy thing to say, but like even just having access to that, there's hundreds of millions of people in the world that don't. You know, we have access to $10 gym memberships, and it's just like what has to happen for people to realize, I mean, literally going through a pandemic, and it's still not like shaking a lot of people up out of like that slumber of we can just fix it with a pill, or you know we can do whatever we want to do because life is short, or you know all those kind of things that you hear. It's like, what is it going to take to get people to finally wake up and see like having a stroke at 50 isn't normal?
Right. I would say this, I'll say that like the trend for this newer generation, right? Like so, you know, you're 17, you're 16 to like 20-year-olds, they're in the gym already. They're so fit. And a lot of that comes from it being socially cool and acceptable. And the second one is that it's sexy, right? Sex sells. And nowadays, if you're a guy or a girl that looks fit, it's to your advantage socially and, you know, almost any other way that has to do with, you know, meeting people or whatever.
Yeah.
It creates desirability. And so that's what people want. That's what
Right.
people want, you know, we you know, socially we look down on people who are obese. And yes, it's wrong, but that's why this new generation is cares so much about their you know, their body image.
Yeah. And I think too, it's almost like a monetary thing now too. Like if you're on Instagram, you can, you know, look good and you can get sponsors, you can get whatever, or, you know, it's almost a little bit sad that it has to like come down to that, but like, and it is what it is at the end of the day. Like that's kind of one of our big things is money. And if that is something that attracts people to a certain lifestyle or activity, I mean, it's at least in a positive way. Like at least it's a positive one, I'd say, for the most part. I mean, I do think that there can be some like some mental, probably negative downsides to
For sure.
for definitely like going to the gym and thinking like, oh my gosh, how I can't look bad today because I have a photo shoot, and you know you're 17, 18 years old, like that could I guess be a, you know, be a downside. But generally speaking, I think, you know, it's better than some alternatives out there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
What are some of the things that you do? You know, because I think when people hire a coach, it's like part of that is the accountability, right? They want somebody that is going to push them. They want somebody who's going to be that voice in their head that says, "Hey, what should you be doing?" But what do you do to kind of reinforce that for that person that's struggling, and for that person that you know has the like the actual want to do it, but they just haven't made the full
I guess, habitual and lifestyle switch yet? Like, what are some of the things that you try to incorporate?
So with my coaching, um, I also do a lot of mindset coaching. So a lot that tends to bleed over into the fitness world too. Um, so, like I mentioned before, all of my plans are custom. So what that also means is our communication is customized. I get to know you and understand who you are. A mom that's 47 with 3 kids has a totally different lifestyle than 20-year-old with, two classes to take tonight. You know what I mean? It's different. So I learn the struggles of each person. I find out what they need to overcome each week when we have our check-ins. Um, and then kind of work on those things. If it's something that's, mental mindset, like, oh, I can't do it, when it's more of a, just a mental block sort of thing. um that's kind of where, a lot of coaching happens. And that's kind of where, you have to instill some more confidence and identify what really is the issue, because physically, the person's able to do it. Why can't they do it, right? And I try to give people small rewards along the way. So instead of, this is a big thing a lot of trainers have a problem with, is they don't know how to give the right weight to someone to do. So a large part of what I do is I don't set that expectation at all. I tell, if I give you a plan, it would say light, moderate, or heavy, and then I define what those things are. So as a quick example, heavy means whatever I tell you, you shouldn't be able to do one more rep. So if you have 4 sets of 6, you shouldn't be able to do 7, right? So that's an example. Now they get to dictate their progress that way, because I'm not telling them, hey, do 100 pounds. They get to pick, hey, I'm doing 80. And they should be able to continue to progress on their own. Like, oh man, I can do 7 and 8 now. Let me move up to 100. Oh, I can do 7 and 8 now. Let me move up to 120, and so on and so forth. So a lot of that progress gets dictated by them more so than just me.
And do you feel like that puts kind of the responsibility in their hands and kind of gives them more power?
Definitely. It's more so than just, all right, I'm reading something and I'm going to do what this guy told me. They actually have some, input and some, responsibility with all the actions that are happening, other than just doing it.
Right. Yeah. I think when you do that, it does. I never thought about it like that, but I think it does make people think. It makes them more involved in the plan. It makes it kind of a little bit too like if everything is told to them, it's almost like this is somebody else's plan that I'm doing. Like it's done by them, but whenever you have that, I think a little bit of say and a little bit of control. I mean, I think that's human nature too. Is like if somebody's telling you exactly what to do, sometimes you want to rebel, or sometimes you
Yeah,
want
for
to,
sure. It absolutely
go
is.
against it.
And then, there's the other side of it. What if, I told him, hey, do 100 pounds and he can do 200 pounds? It would take forever for me to think he could do 200. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of why, give you that responsibility.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of years of training, what do you think has been kind of some of the things that have evolved within your coaching and within kind of like the business side that has made things more streamlined and more efficient?
Things that have streamlined and made things more efficient. Definitely knowing your gym, know where everything is. And if you're a trainer that doesn't have a set workout every day for your client, because there are some that do, which is fine, then you need to know where each piece of equipment is and what you're going to do in case it's taken. That's a big one. You want to make good use of your client's time as well as your time, to make sure to ensure that they progress. Um, and then, on the business end, really, really setting boundaries. That's a big one. Have a contract, make sure that it's legit and legal and it covers you in all the ways that you want to be covered, and don't be afraid to enforce it when you need to. That's a big one. People, like I mentioned before, like to treat trainers like, oh, it's just a job, but this is my business. Like, you need to treat it that way. You need to protect and stand on it. Like, you're not John Doe, you are John Doe's training. Like that's what it is. And do a lot of those things have definitely helped me. When I first started, I never had contracts. I didn't, I took only cash and things like that. Now I don't take cash at all. Unless I know you. It's all electronic, everything like that, and you want to be protected. You want to have insurance. A lot of those things are of what have really helped me progress personally in terms of being efficient and getting the business to a different place.
Right. No, I think that's a really good point. When people have kind of their own thing, they struggle to see it as like this professional thing. They struggle to see it as like, as if it were a big business. Like you almost have to kind of I feel like you have to have it set up like a big business, but then you can still have the touch of a small business. You can still have that touch of that personal relationship, but you have to have it set up. You have to have the background, set up the same way, and have the same protection, like you said, and the same, the contract, the insurance, blah, 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 um, but so many people struggle to do those things. And then I think they struggle to see themselves as professionals. They struggle to see it as a business. They don't charge what they should be charging for their services because they don't see the value in it. And then it kind of trickles down to the client not seeing the value in it. And then just, it's a downhill slope from there.
You mentioned not seeing the value in it. That was something that I came across an old DM of me sending someone prices, a quick call or whatever. And I really realized, man, I was really undervaluing myself because the value that I had for training when I started was $40, right? Like for me, I knew the information that I knew. And to me, it was like, oh, this is easy. I enjoy doing this. Like, whatever. I'm a photographer. I like taking pictures. It's kind of the same, right? But you don't know that, like, as a photographer, just because you like taking pictures doesn't mean that, Mary won't pay you $1,000 for her wedding. You know what I mean? And I had to learn what the demand is. Learn the demand, and that's kind of how you can set your pace.
Fitness and fitness coaching, just the industry in general, bodybuilding coaching, it's becoming this bigger thing, and there's more opportunity out there. And I think that with that comes better coaches and better results for people, and more educational opportunities, more people doing, classes that you see now, and just the whole thing's getting better. And it's going to be cool to see, especially from like a competitive side, I think too, just how good like these competitors actually are starting, even better getting, and like just, more research behind it, more knowledge, there's more money in it. So it's like, okay, well, instead of going to be an engineer, I'll be a bodybuilding coach and I'll grow my knowledge to this crazy amount. And, it's just the future of it, I think, is really going to be pretty cool to see.
For sure. I mean, had you asked me before I had started in fitness and been coaching full time, if I thought it was possible to make multiple six figures as a coach, I'd no way. Who are those people that are paying this guy? Right? That's what I would have said. I want to meet them, but I have met them now, and it's certainly possible. It's definitely doable. You just got to put in the time and stay on it.
Yeah, very well said. I appreciate you coming on the podcast. That was great getting to chat with you and kind of picking your brain a little bit about the business side and everything, and definitely some things that I can take away and apply to mine. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me, Daniel.
You're welcome. And if you want to, before you head out, kind of share your socials or anywhere people can get in touch with you.
Awesome. You guys can follow me on Instagram at @thebootygod__. My website is theaestheticsupremacy.com.
If you're tired of searching for a coach or trainer, somebody who knows what they're talking about and has experience, make sure you go check out the new Coach's Corner on weightroompodcast.com. You can find quality, qualified coaches to help you achieve your goals, whether that's in bodybuilding or just general fitness. Stop wasting time and start achieving your goals today. The link to the Coach's Corner is down in the description below.